Ever notice how racing cars fly around corners at terrifying speeds on tires that look completely smooth? No grooves, no tread, just pure, shiny rubber, like someone forgot the final step at the tire factory. Everything you've ever been taught about driving screams, that's wrong, that's dangerous. That tire is begging for a lawsuit. And yet somehow, these cars are faster, safer, and more controlled because of it. So why does removing tread suddenly turn a tire into a performance monster? I'm Professor Everything, and today we'll be answering the question, why do racing cars use bald tires? Right here on Explaining Everything. Let's start by killing the biggest myth immediately. Tread does not exist to make tires stick to dry roads better. That's not its job. Tread is there to move water out of the way. That's it. It's a raincoat, not a grappling hook. On a dry racetrack, tread actually gets in the way. Every groove is missing rubber, and rubber is the entire point. Grip comes from friction and chemical adhesion between the tire and the asphalt. The more rubber touching the road, the better the grip. Racing slicks maximize this by creating the largest possible contact patch, basically turning the tire into a sticky pancake slapped onto the track at high speed. Road cars need tread because normal humans drive in rain, snow, potholes, regret, and fast food parking lots. Racing cars don't. They live on perfectly maintained tracks, and when it rains, they switch to different tires entirely. No compromises, just vibes and physics. So bald tires aren't a shortcut or a flex. They're the logical endgame of grip optimization. Less tread equals more rubber. More rubber equals more grip. More grip equals cars that can corner so hard your organs briefly file a missing persons report. Here's where it gets spicy. Racing tires aren't just rubber. They're temperature-sensitive rubber. Slicks are designed to operate within a very specific heat window. Too cold, and they're basically plastic. Too hot, and they melt like cheese on a dashboard. Bald tires heat up faster and more evenly than treaded ones. With no grooves interrupting the surface, heat spreads smoothly across the tire. That means predictable grip, consistent performance, and fewer "why did the car suddenly hate me" moments for the driver. This is why you see race cars doing warm-up laps that look suspiciously like aggressive zigzagging. They're not showing off. They're trying to get heat into the tires so the rubber becomes soft and sticky. Once they're in the zone, slicks grip the track like they're emotionally attached to it. Treaded tires, by comparison, trap less heat and warm unevenly. That's great for long-lasting road tires. It's terrible when you're trying to shave tenths of a second off a lap time while your competition is breathing down your neck. At racing speeds, tiny changes matter. A fraction of a degree in steering angle, a split-second difference in braking, one unexpected wiggle, and congratulations, you've invented modern art out of carbon fiber. Slick tires are predictable. With no tread blocks flexing or squirming, the tire responds instantly to driver inputs. Turn the wheel, the car turns. Brake hard, the tire digs in. No delay, no guesswork, just raw, honest feedback. Treaded tires flex more because each little block of rubber moves independently. That's fine when you're parallel parking. It's terrifying when you're entering a corner at highway speeds multiplied by 3. Racing drivers rely on muscle memory and feel. slicks give them a clean, consistent connection to the track, which is critical when reaction times are measured in milliseconds. The tire isn't just touching the road, it's talking back. Now, before someone gets inspired and decides to raceify their daily driver, let's be very clear. Bald tires on public roads are a terrible idea. Without tread, water has nowhere to go. That leads to hydroplaning, which is when your car politely stops listening to you and starts auditioning for an ice skating routine. Racing slicks are also made of super soft rubber that wears out incredibly fast. Some can last less than 100 miles. That's not a tire. That's a consumable. They also need heat to work properly. Cold slicks have about as much grip as a bowling ball. Race teams manage this with tire warmers, controlled environments, and professional drivers. You have a commute and a playlist. Racing slicks are incredible tools, but only in the exact conditions they're designed for. Outside of that, they're worse than useless. They're not reckless, they're specialized. They're the result of engineers asking, what happens if we remove everything that isn't strictly necessary? And the answer turned out to be very smooth, very sticky, and very fast. So the next time you see a race car flying through a corner on tires smoother than a freshly waxed bowling lane, just remember, bald doesn't mean broken. In racing, bald means optimized. If you learned something new, don't forget to like, subscribe, and maybe being bald isn't as bad as it seems. Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.